Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy episode.
You fucked him up.
Something. I see to see Scott over there mumbling to himself. Episode 374 for the week of October 30th. Really, stop. Are you copying me? October 30th, 2018. Happy day before Halloween. And it's Scott's birthday. Happy birthday, Scott. Happy almost birthday, Scott.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. My name is Ryan Higgins, who's here with me this week.
Brock Sager.
Scott and the Josh Bros.
And Charlie.
And I just want to say, Scott, I am loving the Unknown Pleasures Joy Division shirt. I have many versions of that shirt and all sorts of parody versions as well.
I love your parody versions of this shirt. He has a Mickey Mouse one. That's my favorite one.
I have a Pokemon one.
You have a Pokemon one?
Yeah.
I should get that one.
Yeah, I got that one. I have a Japanese version of it. I have the regular version. I have one that says Joy Division. Yeah, so a lot of versions. Everyone.
It's one of my travel shirts.
Everyone has to have the one that says, "What is this? I saw it on Tumblr." That's my favorite. I need to actually buy that. That's still my favorite shirt.
I will say this: the Unknown Pleasures shirt is more. The kids love it. The kids, they're into Joy Division.
Are they?
Yeah, they all wear this stuff, and they're like, "Hey, I love that. I really was a big fan of Ian Curtis," and I'm like,
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
Shut
seriously.
up.
Teenagers.
No.
Yes, they know. It's because that's what their parents listen to. Yeah. The Breeders.
So, Leanne does say whenever she plays her music at school, the kids are always like, "Oh, I like this song. This is the thing my parents listen to," and she gets really mad at them. So, yeah. There you go. What are you gonna do? Hey, so you know how comic books are a thing that exist?
Yeah.
Apparently.
We read them sometimes.
And you know how there are all sorts of news sites that talk about comic books?
Are we going to talk about that?
And you know how there's all sorts of movies and TV shows based on comic books now?
Yeah.
And you know how comic news sites now don't talk about comic books?
No, they just talk about gossip.
It's like San Diego.
It's real bad. So this is a legitimate, rare week where I couldn't pull even a single worthwhile topic. Now, admittedly, I was gone to Disneyland over the weekend for our Halloween party, which is always
There's nothing.
a fun time.
I mean, I browse once every couple days. I'm not like you guys.
There's Sabrina just started. Daredevil obviously is happening. There was some talk about the Spider-Man DLC for the game. There's a bunch of nothing news.
There's some really awesome videos of Red Dead Redemption 2 cinematic mode.
Oh, sure. I scrolled through 500 articles from the past week, and I'm like, it's just not a single thing here worth talking about. So, podcast is over. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week. Goodbye. This is a Comic Experience.
They're not going to see us next week.
It's okay. Ryan needs to go through the outro for a half hour now.
That is true.
But
we'll have Bryce on. He could do the outro for half an hour.
But I heard... I don't know what I was going to say.
Yeah, because you're playing Marvel Puzzle Quest. Jesus.
Well, you guys have to go soon, so we probably will have a short podcast because apparently you have to do something in Marvel Puzzle Quest.
No, we're doing.
No, I don't have to leave.
You can just do it here while we're talking.
I multitask every single week.
Every week.
Sorry. I thought you had to actually focus on something.
I heard that listener questions went over very well.
I have a bunch of listener questions, and we have 170 some odd emails from the last 5 or 6 years, which I'm sure we could pull a few things from. But this is a great time killer here, if you want to call it that. So, comic book related, have you guys been doing anything? Because short of Disney stuff, that's been my whole week. We went there for Leanne's extremely late birthday present. So. Yeah.
I traveled this week, but I did not make it to a comic shop in Salt Lake City. So,
is there a shop in Salt Lake City?
There might be. There's a shop in every city. Every city I've been to, there's been a shop. I went to one in Hawaii. I went to one in where else was I?
I don't know where you were.
A few of them in L.A.
We looked up shops in Hawaii. There's actually a ton of them.
Yeah, tons.
Did you marathon all of Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina?
I've started the first episode. And it was fine.
Okay. Because you're all caught up on the Netflix stuff, right?
All I know is that if you haven't started Daredevil, you can... I would even say savor it. One episode every 3 or 4 days. Savor it. It's... Are
you implying that it's going to be canceled?
No, I'm saying it's really good. And you should just take your time and just soak it all in.
Yeah.
Soak it all in.
It's going to be a while.
Where are you?
I'm still need to finish Luke Cage season 2, and then I'll watch Iron Fist. Then I'll watch Daredevil.
No, you don't have to. Just skip those. Yeah. And I love Iron Fist, but you could skip it.
So it doesn't matter. It's just the way I am. I need to
finish before you start.
Yeah. It
makes your wife happy too.
It's good.
Brock, I know you have been on a new reading project.
Yes, actually, I'm revisiting Sandman.
Nice.
It's been a while.
So, yeah, it's been, God, I don't know how long it's been since I've read that.
It has been a long time since I've read it start to finish. I did fairly, I don't want to say regularly, but I did a few times within a number of years of each other.
Yeah.
Like Watchmen and Dark Knight, like I used to read those almost yearly back when I reread comics. Yeah. But
I don't have time.
It has been a long, long time. I would love to reread Sandman. I need to soon.
I started last week, and last week I plowed through volumes 1 through 4. So I did Preludes and Nocturnes, Doll's House, Dream Country, and Season of Mist. And Season of Mist still resonates as like my favorite story arc. But this week I started. Oh God, what was the last one? A Game of You, which was volume 5, and then I'm currently reading Fables and Reflections.
Yeah,
yeah. So,
you're burning through those.
You know, it's heavy reading, but it's just so deep and so good. And I'm actually going back and reading the introductions to the trades, and stuff connects a lot better.
Yeah.
The collected versions of them have stuff out of order, so like you actually skip over a couple issues, and then they're scattered in Fables and Reflections.
They're all Fables and Reflections is all the one shots and kind of one off stories.
Well, and then it jumps to issue 50.
Yeah,
and then you come back to those issues in the like late 30s and 40s in the next couple trades. Yeah. So, no, I mean I've been wanting to do it for a while, and I just kind of was staring at I had reorganized my trade book cases, and I was like, oh, it was like right there when I was like, I need to read something, and I don't want to start anything on the stack of stuff I need to read.
Yep.
So I just picked up the first one, but yeah, it's really good stuff. A couple people have asked me, well, why didn't you start with Sandman Overture? And I'm like,
Overture makes no sense if you haven't read all of Sandman.
Yeah.
It's even though it takes place before, it assumes you've read everything.
It requires knowledge about characters and story.
But yeah, reading through it again, it's just a lot of stuff starts popping out again.
Yeah.
You start, going, oh, this person is connected to this and this and this. One of the grossest stories, I think, is in Preludes and Nocturnes, where they're in the diner.
Oh, I love that one.
That one is
with,
brutal with Dr. Destiny.
Dr. Destiny, yeah.
That one is brutal.
Yeah.
Like I just finished a story where it was talking about was it Caesar's nephew, Augustus? Mm-hmm. And like basically Caesar rapes him. It's like, Jesus Christ. And you're just like, oh yeah, I didn't quite remember this was in there.
The middle, I've read the first few volumes and the last few volumes a few times. I feel like the ones in the middle, I'm a little I haven't reread as many times.
I think rereading in the order that they have it in the trades is good, especially if you're familiar with the material.
Yeah.
Because going back in, I'm reading story arcs that I'm not necessarily the biggest fan. Like, it's not like I don't love them, but they don't resonate as much as like Season of Mist does with me. But again, you see like these little nuanced things as you're going through, and it's just like, man, it really kind of makes you. I feel like I really missed out on something when I wasn't reading it single issue.
Yeah.
But, it's definitely something that, I'll reread again down the road. But, I have to read.
Never read them.
Well, there's 10 main.
There's a lot of words on the pages. That's all I know.
There's 10 main books. Then there's the Endless Nights, which is kind of the short, one-shot character stories of each of the Endless. Then you have Overture, which you would read after that. so you have like 12 volumes worth of stuff
Yeah.
to read. So
Yeah, Scott, I don't want to. I've mentioned this a lot, so I don't want to go on for too long about it. But you would appreciate Sandman on a different level than some people because you're familiar with the DC characters.
Yeah.
A lot of people coming into Sandman aren't as familiar, so there's a lot of kind of deep cuts that they pull from. So it works really well if you're a fan of.
So I didn't know how intertwined it was in kind of story and lore of superhero. I just assumed that it was.
Well, it goes into the old Sandman in Preludes and Nocturnes. The guy who had a wife. Why am I blanking on his name? Is it Hank something?
Well, both versions of Sandman, both the Golden Age and the Kirby
And
version.
Sandy.
Yeah. But both of those versions are
you get Dr. Destiny. You get Constantine's great something.
Constantine's straight up in it.
Well, he's straight up in it, but
Yeah.
it goes back even further to Justina,
Something like that.
Constantine.
Yeah.
So there's added mythos there. The three witches who are currently in the Witching Hour crossover with Wonder Woman and Justice League Dark, they're in it.
Yep.
So you get a lot of these kind of connecting fibers.
And even Destiny, the character Destiny, appeared in comics before Sandman, though. He was not created by Neil Gaiman. It's a very, I don't say different take. It's not a very defined character, but Neil Gaiman did something very different with him and expanded out. And, different members of the JSA and All-Star Squadron are in it. So
Very cool.
Charlie, before we go on to some questions, do you have any fun comic book related things you've been doing this last week or two?
I read Wonder Woman Earth 1 Volume 2.
Oh, cool. Nice. I still need to read that.
Yeah, I finally sat down and read that. I caught up on Detective. I was like 10 issues behind on Detective, so I caught up on those. I started rereading the Injustice Year 1 because I put out the oversized hardcover of that. So, yeah, just making it through some stuff I've already read before, some stuff I've just been really behind on.
Yeah.
So,
Are you excited for
reads.
Are you excited for Batman and the Outsiders after reading some of the Brian Hill detective stuff?
I mean, I'm interested to read it. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm excited, but I'm not the Outsiders guy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so
I had to sneak the question in there.
yeah. So it's not like I was sitting here going like, "Damn it, where are the Outsiders?" That's your job.
That's next month.
That's your job.
That's next month.
Well, we'll do a couple questions here. We have a ton of questions, so that you guys responded.
Thank the listeners.
Yeah, you guys responded with a ton of great questions to talk about here. So let's hit up a few of these. Ulysses on Twitter says he has 3 questions. We kind of discussed this first one a bit, but I'll ask it again. Have you guys finished Daredevil Season 3? It's brilliant. 13 out of 10 is his review score. That's a good review. No, haven't started it. Broadcast.
No,
just
I
Scott.
I
Just
can't
Scott.
talk about it.
Just Scott.
Just me. Well, and some of I know Bryce is through 4 episodes.
I'm a little further ahead than Charlie because I finished Luke Cage, but I still have to do Iron Fist and then Daredevil.
Again,
got to do it in order, man. Can't jump around.
Run out.
Oh, I'm going to jump around. I'm going to watch.
And you can jump around.
Punisher, and then I'm going to watch it.
There is no
You could
connection.
if you're going to skip it, just skip Punisher. Punisher is fine, but it's
I felt like Punisher was better than.
fine.
The one thing about this Daredevil season is there's no gaps. There's not an episode where you're like, this one's not necessary.
There's no lag or
and I feel like I even remember the original Daredevil having a couple of lag episodes, but this one, again,
they all have.
I just loved it too much, probably.
I just need more time in the day.
You do need more time.
I'm done with that. All right, here's another question. Who is better? And we always love who is better questions. They're so much fun. Lee Bermejo or Alex Ross? I know which way Charlie's going.
Yeah, it's Ross.
Lee Bermejo or Alex Ross?
Yeah.
Alex Ross. He's my guy.
Brock, do you have a preference?
current Alex Ross or past Alex Ross?
Did you guys see those Alex Ross variant covers that are coming out for like the Marvels month, Charlie?
I remember glancing at them at one point.
Yeah.
Is he getting
couple
more
months.
stylized?
No, it's still Alex Ross.
Yeah, I mean, he's
If you just start looking at old Astro City covers and wonder why that book sold, besides it being good. The covers could sell anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I would probably have to go with Alex Ross, but I mean, Bermejo's done amazing work. It's just, I think the thing I have issue with him is a lot of times his stuff is inked really dark.
Lee Bermejo?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Very, very dark. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not really a fair comparison. I think they're very different artists. But current, I would say Lee Bermejo, only because he does interior.
Yeah.
If Alex Ross started doing regular comic work again, that might be different. But it's hard when he hasn't done anything in...
How many? A decade?
More than that.
Was it Masks last time he did interior? And that was like only the first issue.
And he only did people
Mask or Project Superpowers?
inked. He does like the covers. I think he was doing the covers.
He does the covers,
for that.
but no, I thought he did like the
which
art
you know, I mean, whatever. He's a great artist, but I would probably go Lee Bermejo. I really like him. And his final question is: have you guys been enjoying Titans? Because I am, and I finally got the DC streaming service. I absolutely love Titans. We talked about that at length the last few weeks.
I hate you guys for the fact that
I did not see this most recent episode, but I did, and I'll let you talk in a second, Scott. But I did see the promo pictures for Doom Patrol, and holy shit, perfect, beautiful. Like they look perfect. So that's this Friday. They're on episode 4 this week. So. Very, very excited.
So the Doom Patrol is in Titans this week, and now it's one episode at a time. Can you watch all of the episodes up?
Till... If you start paying for the service, you can stream
anything that's up. So Doom Patrol is going to be. Yep, this is going to be the Doom Patrol episode.
Yeah, I mean we don't know if Robin stabbed anybody in the dick in episode 3.
I'll have a full report next week for all the dick stabbing. Charlie, have you seen Titans? Have you seen any of them yet?
I watched the first 2.
Okay,
I just
so
haven't watched the third.
Okay. Jeremy asks, please explain to the listeners why so many customers are going to be upset when they realize that comic stores will not have all the variants available for Uncanny X-Men #1. Many customers are not aware of how hard Marvel made it to order. I want heads to roll at Marvel. Charlie works at a store, if you couldn't tell.
I feel like this is kind of a normal Marvel thing, though.
Yeah, so...
We're back to that. It hasn't been that way in about a year and a half.
No,
we've gone back and forth with Marvel a lot. For people that don't know the inner workings, what Marvel does for their variant covers is some of the times they're open order, meaning you can order as many as you want. But a number of them tend to be some sort of qualifier. Now you'll have an incentive cover. 1 in 25 is a special cover. 1 in 50 is a special cover. And that's pretty standard for a lot of companies. Most companies have pulled away from that, but
well, I mean,
many still do
DC has done it.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, like they did it for Heroes of Crisis 1. They did it for
Batman. Metal.
Metal. They did it for
Justice League. Had a couple. Yeah. But what Marvel does is these incentive cover, like to call them meter exceed covers. Basically, if you order X copies of cover A, you can then order as many copies as you want of covers B through Z.
Yeah,
I feel like we have this conversation about Marvel's variant ordering system all the time.
Yeah, we do. Okay. And so this is in case people don't have kind of miss what it is. So those covers usually are interesting, but it's gotten crazy. So some of them worked. Fantastic Four worked, although we ordered way too many. But there are as Marvel just continuously relaunches. There were 19 #1s in this last catalog. Not all of them were ongoing series. There were many one shots, but there were still a lot of new ongoing series. They're doing they are doing just straight up more variants. There's not like 1 or 2 variants or even 5 or 6. There's 15 to 20 variants in some of these books. It's a little like FF #1, fine.
Yeah.
But
Moon Knight 200?
Right. The 7th Uncanny X-Men #1 in 10 years, like
How many covers are there?
I mean, they're adding them constantly.
Oh,
and so we don't even get some of this cover artwork till the day the orders are due. So I don't know what the thought process here is. Uncanny X-Men #1, they're going to see a bunch of variant covers that most stores won't have because the number of the main cover to order
To qualify
to unlock these other covers was just insane. Well, and it's also...
but it's connected to something else.
It's 250 to 300% of your order for one of the more recent Avengers issues, which Avengers is Marvel's like one of their top-selling books, right?
Yeah.
So they're really trying to jack you up.
Yeah.
And Uncanny X-Men #1, it's an $8 comic.
Ooh.
It's the first of a weekly series. So it's going to be 10 issues weekly, and we don't know what happens after that. Yeah, so if you want that, if you're going to order... It's twice as much as a regular comic.
So for an example...
Bigger page count, but it's still a high price point.
If it's Avengers #9...
It was like 4 or something like that.
Okay, so 4.
Yeah.
So how many do you order of Avengers #4?
Ding dong.
You forgot to shut that off.
I
That's
don't
okay.
shut
There's
it
somebody ordering Avengers #4.
I'm going to start
of course.
ordering a bunch
Brock,
of
do you
stuff
want to
right
go?
now
Do you
on
know
my
how to turn off
phone.
the,
Yeah, I know how to
the
turn it
ding dong? So if we order 50 copies of Avengers #4, which sounds like what we probably did, we'd have to order 150 copies, or like 125
And that's a hell no.
copies
Of the first cover.
The first cover, which then lets you order as many as you want of the other covers. Now, if you've got 115 subscribers for X-Men, like, cool, go for it, right? But like, that's not going to be a lot of shops, right? So there's just no way to hit these. If it was match,
Unless you're going to try to take a bath on having all these extra whatever.
and if you've got 50 sets sold, then yeah, maybe it's worth ordering the extra copies
Right.
because you're going to sell.
But if you don't see the artwork, why is anybody ever going to take a risk?
And that
it could be just some big pile of crap.
We used to do a lot of sets for the variant covers, but the problem is Marvel now adds them day after day after day, and like they just don't stop. So I can't sell a set because I don't know what I'm actually selling, and it's made it near impossible to order these covers. So Marvel is way up in the store. Our sales for just the traditional covers of the regular books are up. The sales of the open order variant covers are up. The sales for the stuff that we're able to qualify is up. But they still can't figure out that they're did it return a Wolverine? Couldn't come anywhere close to qualifying. It's going to be like that with X-Men. Can't come even close to qualifying. So, sorry, guys.
So eat it.
Well,
We're not going to have that cover. Go to eBay.
Yeah, well, and very few stores will.
And the way I kind of look at it, unfortunately, is this has been going on long enough. Nobody's head's going to roll over at Marvel or Disney.
No,
like this is just
it's their number.
It's the general arena of frustration because it's just the way it is for no real good reason.
Well, remember those Secret Empire covers that were god awful?
Oh yeah.
Like, and that's the thing is like you don't know what these variant covers are going to look like, and some come out we can't even sell them because they look like garbage.
Well, the question always is, if these were all open order, would you sell more, or do enough stores jump through the hoops to get unsold product that would they sell 300,000 without it, or 300,000 with the hoops, and 500,000 without the hoops? I don't know. I think so. I think they would sell more. Just straight up, I think they would sell more, but they don't think so. So
well, that's the thing is like if
I don't know.
if you have all these crazy variant covers that people are qualifying, like wanting to qualify for, and then you start slapping like J. Scott Campbell on it, or Stanley Artgerm, or
Stanley Artgerm.
Stanley Artgerm Lau. That's his name.
Artgerm. Just call him Artgerm.
Larry Artgerm. Bill.
But these are now the cover. These are now the meet or exceed covers.
Yeah.
Yes, it'll incentivize stores to get to those covers, but how much? It's eventually going to tank at some point, which they always seem to cycle around.
Oh,
they cycle away and then they go away. I mean, Marvel still has variants at Diamond for sale that used to be qualifying ones.
Oh yeah,
to like from 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah, no, they have these like sales on variant covers, and there's a ton of 1 in 25s that they never sold, and a one in order incentive covers and blank covers. So yeah, again, Marvel's not losing any money on this stuff. They if they get 500 orders, they print 550 copies. Like they're not printing too many extra, and they can do that. It's just I wish they would stop because we could get more comics to the customers that want it. Our numbers are up. Our numbers would be way up.
Well, DC has been doing solid with their regular and open order variant.
Yeah, but it's not that many variants.
Not compare. I mean,
so I have some
They
general
have like one variant every week.
DC is one variant for some books. Marvel is 20 variants for a couple, 10 for a couple, 5 for a couple, 2 for many, 1 for a lot, and a handful don't have any.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the thing that drives me nuts, because this is the argument I always kind of feel like I go around circular in my head. Having something easy and open order to get does create the question of what does it do for the demand of that product. And it's
those open order Art Germ and Batgirl variants, they still sell
Your
out.
numbers keep going up on that.
I'm not arguing with certain artists and that kind of stuff, but you're not going to have 20 Art Germ covers for every Marvel book that comes out. No. So some of this becomes because this one was very hard to get, it becomes more collectible, and they sell it even though it's a crap cover because it becomes
Less people
collectible.
have it. Yeah. Those are the things that aren't going to be collectible down the road, though.
No, and I agree, but so I get
What is one of the most expensive modern comics, 2000s to now? What is one of the most expensive modern comics?
Gold
This is a Marvel or DC book. This isn't like Walking Dead number one.
Yeah, it's one
or
of the
anything
gold
like that.
ones. I think JJ has one. Jim Jokish.
What is one of the most expensive comics from the current day, Marvel or DC?
What? 2000
to now.
Walking Dead number 1.
I said for Marvel and DC.
Oh, that goes Sagas. That's out.
So educate us.
So first appearance of Spider-Gwen, right, is one of the big ones. Also, the Detective Comics cover, the Jock cover with the Joker when Snyder was on it. That's just like turning into the bats. That's just their cover, right? It was a high produced book, for the most part, right? These are just normal comics. These aren't like weird, crazy, super hard to find variants.
A couple of the Jim Lee
plenty of
variant covers for the Hush stuff.
Those are what I'm saying. Those are second prints. Those are weird collector things. No, these are just normal comics, right? So they absolutely can. The regular book that can be valuable.
Well, but he's saying what I was saying is
if it's
a bad cover can sell as a collectible more than a. I at least hope they don't go, this is the worst cover. This is what we're going to make the normal cover for the book.
Well, when they do the art germ, it's the variant, right? Yeah. Every time. And that's fine. And I'm okay with that. But I don't want it to make the regular cover.
That's like
bad.
a 1 in 5, right? Or a 1 in 10?
No, just open order, usually.
He's talking about the DC ones.
Well, I wasn't sure.
No, Marvel. All of Marvel's art germs have been open order. So the FF covers were open order. The Spider-Gwen from this week was open order.
I do like the fact that he goes back and forth and he doesn't have a contract with one or the other.
Yep.
Yeah. But I guess my thing is, and this is partly me just speaking through frustration, is like Mondo. Their posters are really expensive, but they've built in this huge collector's market that they sell it so quickly they could definitely produce more and sell more. But the question becomes, long term, would they sell less because they were readily available?
Right.
It's a very weird thing that I agree with you, at least in typical logical realm of if you print to meet demand, you will sell more copies.
Well,
but there is sort of that question of if they had 20 open order variants all the time for all these books, would you really sell all 20 of those compared to what you actually would sell because some of them were hard to find?
I don't think they're selling most of them.
I don't collector's market.
No, I mean, I don't think they're selling most of them anyway. I mean, I think people order the main cover and the really hot ones get ordered. But even that, a lot of stores just straight do not order variant covers, period, right? So these comics don't even have a chance of getting in the hands of most people that want them. And that's why some of them do get hot. But if you go back and look at FF number 1, none of those covers are worth anything. If you go back and look at, like, what was the other one that had it? The Return of Wolverine, right?
Return of Wolverine. Amazing Spider-Man number 1 had a bunch.
None of those covers are worth anything, right? So even the quote-unquote good covers.
But were they worth something the week of release, the first 2 weeks? That's where I get curious. I'm curious because I agree. Long term, it's not a great investment.
What's the immediate hawk value?
Yeah.
Like when you go into the store that you don't normally frequent and you decide to buy up all the variants and you throw them on eBay.
Well, this is the other thing too. Is I think what we're forgetting is having 20 covers that are open order, and it's always open order, always consistent. You can know whether or not to post. Oh, there's the 20 cover set for this book.
Yeah,
you know exactly what to do. You can pre-list that, which means you might sell 2 more copies of one cover because you got sets, so you have a baseline.
So I kind of feel like, and I could absolutely be wrong about this, but I don't feel like Ryan is the perfect example of most stores. Meaning, I don't necessarily think other stores are pushing sets as much as Ryan is, and doing
like I
it
said,
very successfully.
I can't really now, right?
Well, yeah.
Man, so Return of Wolverine #1, the 1 in 200 McNiven Virgin variant cover, just sold on eBay for $18.74. 1 in 200.
Just sold for $18.
$18, right?
I know.
Can you go back a little bit more?
The Heroes in Crisis #1 Harley variant.
Yeah.
See what that one is at now.
The 1 in 500 sold for $75.
I still feel like that's pretty low.
That's ridiculously low.
For how much that your comic book shop owner had to pay for that.
Well, but that's where I'm curious. Because most of these things, at least my feeling is most of these things, I'm not talking about like the J. Scott Campbell covers or whatnot, but I kind of feel like typically the 1 in 200 variants or 1 in 100 variants, my experience is if you don't sell them in your shop, the week of release or within the first few weeks of release, you're never going to sell them for that premium price.
The most recent last 2 Heroes in Crisis #1 Matina 1 in 200 variant covers both sold for just under $200 a piece,
and we sold ours for
$300.
Yeah,
within minutes.
Within
putting
minutes
it online,
of putting it online,
at launch.
But it's already going down.
But $200 for a 1 in 200 is totally fine.
Yeah.
That's exactly
what
I would
expect.
The thing
is, Return of Wolverine #1 came out the same month.
Yeah.
So you have this drop, like you see what the drop off is. Now, it comparatively, yes, it has Harley on the cover. Yes, it's the artist, like all that stuff goes into play.
Sure.
But DC doesn't do this very often. So by them having a 1 in 200 variant,
well, it's just a much better. It's a really good cover.
It's a really good cover, but they don't do it very often. Yeah, whereas Marvel does it all the fucking time.
Yeah, so that
and people are like, whatever.
And again, I don't want. I hear Bryce just complaining this whole time. Marvel doing variant covers, awesome. Marvel doing even a lot of variant covers, awesome. It's the way they do it is usually the problem. So. We're going to move on to Chernan Deslara.
All right, Deslara.
I should just say JoJo's. Let's just say JoJo's Eldritch Adventure because that's obviously their Halloween name. So we'll just call them that because that's much easier to say. I asked about the Sabrina show, which we talked about. He goes, but he also wants to remind people that the Batman animated series Blu-ray is out today.
Yep.
Didn't you pre-order that?
I did, and then I canceled it because I want the version without the fucking pop figures in it. So I'm going to wait for another version to show up.
What?
Mine arrives tomorrow.
Did you get the pop figures?
Yeah.
Everyone.
Hell
so they printed, apparently the number was 30,000 copies. The demand was so high, they bumped it up to 70,000.
Oh, I didn't hear they bumped it.
Yeah, they put them back out again. But, I mean, if you pick them up now, it's retail, or even Amazon's like barely discounted. So I'm really hoping that just a standard version of it comes out down the road without the pop figures.
Well, I mean, they pushed back the release date compared to what it was originally. And if they bump the orders, that's great. It makes sense. I do find it interesting that they had basically shut down pre-orders for like the last month or two.
Because they
couldn't
got too many.
them.
Yeah, they said they got too many.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what their
speaking of Funko Pops and demand,
how
about that Elvira pop at that Florida convention?
I saw that. Getting like straight up fistfights over that thing.
Police were called. I'm like, and this goes back to what Charlie said earlier. It's like you could sell so many more of these Elvira pops.
Yeah.
But
Funko doesn't make a dime when it sells for $600 on eBay. Like it's crazy to me. But
that's the thing is Marvel doesn't make DC didn't make.
But
very much off of that.
Well, I understand Funko, though, because they release these things in such limited quantities. They're not hard to order because for that convention, they just straight up had the entire order for them, right? So that's why there's so many of these things. It's like a store-exclusive cover for us, right? It's all these conventions, all these exclusives. For getting the variants, I mean, yeah, it can be hard for stores, but any store can create an account with Funko and order from them direct for their standard products. If you want the rare ones, you got to go. There isn't hoops to jump through short of a chase, but you can't jump through a hoop to get that. It's just a chance to get it. Yeah. It's a very different product, but it is. If you're a hardcore Funko guy, it's very difficult to get some of this stuff. Hicks.
I could see going down that path.
Don't do it.
No, I wouldn't do it. It's too late.
Hicks asks, are you guys optimistic about the Doom Patrol show? Of course. After everything we've seen in Titans, I am ecstatic for that Doom Patrol show. Anyone else?
I'm honestly more excited for the Doom Patrol show right now than I am Titans.
Okay. Well, we get to see our first look at them next week.
I think I have never read the Morrison Doom Patrol stuff.
Yeah.
I tried reading Doom Patrol when they relaunched it. What was it when Blackest Night was around? Mm-hmm. And I think they did another.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
They did another version as well around like before or after that one. I don't remember, but both of those versions, like I'm like, all right, I'm curious about these characters. Like, I want to see, but they just didn't deliver on what on anything of making that team seem interesting. The characters still interest me, so I mean there is interest there, but other than that, I hope they at least give a good story. The only Doom Patrol that everyone says to read is the Morrison stuff.
Yeah,
I guess this is a conversation I've had a couple of times because I enjoy the new Titans show, but I don't necessarily feel like I enjoy it as much as I would enjoy a more traditional take of the Titans in live action form. I would definitely say that in general, this Titans version doesn't sort of resonate with any other Titans version that I'm familiar with. The Doom Patrol, as you said, it looks like it's right out of the comic books. It looks like it's much, and Doom Patrol can sort of exist in the Titans world well because they can be sort of edgier and sort of do their own thing.
Edgier than the current Titans?
Somebody got stabbed in the dick.
What's the Doom Patrol going to do?
I'm just saying
that, Ryan.
I'm just saying that in general, I have an easier time sort of picturing the feeling of I'm getting a Doom Patrol show than getting a Titans show right now. And it's not to say that I think Titans is bad, because I don't think Titans is bad. I just don't think it's necessarily living up to the amount of enjoyment I would get from it otherwise.
I will say this though: the DC's they've redone the Doom Patrol Morrison stuff in trade. They're nice collected versions. They're available now, so
worth getting.
Worth getting if you're curious about Doom Patrol at all.
Josh asks, whatever happened to Mark Shaw Manhunter?
Wait, hold on, that's one of the Joshes. Josh Bros Unite. Let's go, Joshes.
I remember having a few issues from the 89 series as a kid, but I haven't seen him appear in anything else since. Well, I know he was in Suicide Squad briefly back then.
Yeah, there was was it Janus Project?
Yeah, he was in the Kate Spencer Manhunter series. Kate Spencer? Is that right?
Kate Spencer, the Mark Andrenko.
Yeah, from
that one's super good.
Early 2000s. Yeah, great series. He was in that briefly, but I don't, to the best of my knowledge, he has not appeared in anything since. That version of Manhunter is long gone.
Well, Kate Spencer Manhunter kind of ran with that mantle and then made it better.
Yeah. Oh, I love.
But even she hasn't been in anything in a long time that I recall.
No, she isn't. Really
Kate Spencer, she's been in something in in Rebirth. I just don't remember what. Like her character popped up, but I don't remember in what.
Yeah, but not as Manhunter.
No, she's Green Arrow's lawyer. Percy brought her in as Green Arrow's lawyer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they had that. She was in the show too. I think that's probably why.
Yeah, but Percy brought it into the current Rebirth stuff.
Yeah.
So that's where I was like, I know I've seen her in there.
Oh, here's a great question. This is from Cab Comics in Flagstaff, Arizona. They asked, do you guys know if you have any customers who are fans of let's say specific YouTube channels that we like to rag on.
Do we
from
have
time
any
to time.
customers in here that are comic book or comic gay
customers?
hate asshole
If
fucktards?
so, how do you handle them? I mean, to the best of my knowledge, no. I have had one or two people tell me they watched the channel. This is a while ago, but after explaining to them what it was and kind of giving them more info on them, they're like, oh, screw that. Did you guys see the Mark Waid lawsuit stuff that's been going on?
Yeah.
Because so
can I sum that up real quick? So Mark Waid's being sued by the Comicsgate douchebags.
Yeah.
So he started a GoFundMe to raise money to combat the lawsuit.
Yeah. Lawyers are expensive.
Ethan Van Sciver then jumped on to GoFund the suees.
Yeah.
So he's trying to make money for the suey to sue Mark Waid?
Yeah.
I mean, either way, as you
Lawyers
just
are
said,
expensive.
lawyers are expensive, and now, basically, for this lawsuit, both sides' bill is being foot by
the fandom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go Mark Waid.
It's the first time that I've seen where I kind of feel like all the risk is now removed from even like a frivolous lawsuit.
Yeah.
And it's...
But here's the thing. When Mark Waid wins, he will continue to put out product that will either make me money or for his fans probably create products they enjoy, right?
But what I'm saying is the fact that it didn't get settled or whatnot means that suing Mark Waid comes with a cost.
Yeah.
Typically. And Mark Waid, of course, has the other side of that of the cost for defending himself. It's really weird to think about a society now where people can just kind of go online and be like, I need some money to sue so-and-so. Like,
I mean, as far as I know,
it's kind of weird.
The lawsuit...
And don't get me wrong. I have no problem with Mark Waid asking for money to sort of defend himself against this lawsuit. But part of that is I've been to his table at a number of cons where he's done the whole, I don't charge for signatures, but I will sign anything as long as you donate to the Comic Legal Defense Fund.
Yeah.
Like, he's always sort of supported people against frivolous lawsuits and that kind of stuff. So going to the same crowd that he's always been like, I'm not trying to take money from you for myself, but let's help protect these other people that he's now...
Well, I don't expect Mark Waid ever thought he'd be on the receiving end of one of these, right?
But I'm just saying that for years he's supported other people.
And the CBLDF is not getting involved in this at all. I don't know what the hell they're doing these days. They're really weird.
Yeah. But as I said, he's spent all this time supporting other people going through a similar thing.
Right.
That it's just right that he gets some help when it's him.
Oh, okay. Then I agree. Sorry, I thought that didn't sound like you were going.
The funny
in that
thing
direction.
is some people.
I do want to explain what this is for if people don't know.
You go
exactly what's going on. Let me do that real quick. Without getting into the if you don't know what Comic Gate is, go look it up.
No, you can't tell them to go look it up because you know how much garbage is out there.
Indiegogo comic was supposed to have it published by Antarctic Press. Antarctic Press pulled out and said after like a day, they're like, never mind, we're not going to do this. Right?
Yeah.
The book got announced that it was going to be printed and published in comic stores by Antarctic Press. Antarctic Press pulled out and said no. The creator blames Mark Waid, claiming Mark Waid called and pressured the company to not publish the book. I mean, if you follow just how these things go, if you follow Mark Waid's
entire internet pressured Antarctic Press.
Besides that, right? Besides the entire internet going on and saying, "Yeah, do not do this,"
right?
They publicly made a comment that was like, no one specific, including Mark Waid, had anything to do with this decision. This decision was, we decided just it wasn't worth it, so we pulled away. I mean, it's already settled. The lawsuit, of course, you can waste a bunch of time in court, but I mean, I don't see a chance in hell of this guy's winning. So to me, it's a completely frivolous lawsuit. And my hope is that Mark Waid takes this guy for every penny he made, and because his book is months late at this point, it's not going to ever be printed. It's not going to happen. So he screwed his fans, right? And now he's wasting his money, what money he made, by suing Mark Waid on a lawsuit he's going to lose. So
and that's why, from a very sad situation perspective,
well, here's the thing. If you lose all your money, you don't have to produce the comic you were never going to produce in the first place.
But before the GoFundMe for him to basically sue Mark Waid, I thought there was an even chance that, honestly, it could get dropped and that money could then go back to the people who are supporting Mark Waid. The fact that he is now being funded to go forward with the lawsuit,
that's ridiculous.
Well, so this is the thing, and this is what a lot of people on the internet have responded to, because it was Ethan Van Sciver that started the GoFundMe.
Yeah.
A lot of people are actually going after GoFundMe because in their
or Indiegogo.
No, they're going after GoFundMe. To take the
for Ethan Van Sciver's
GoFundMe to be taken off because it violates.
I already submitted. I already submitted a complaint too. I mean, it's a hate group trying to raise money.
Yeah, and it goes against GoFundMe's terms of service.
Yep.
So the thing is that money might not ever even go. Like that whole GoFundMe thing is not going to work. Most likely, not going to work in the Comicsgate people's favor. So, I mean, it's basically just turning the wheels of. And the thing is like they scream and they scream, "Oh, free speech! You're curbing free speech." It's like nobody wants to listen to your fucking hate rhetoric. Yeah. Like nobody wants to print your hate rhetoric.
Yeah, I will be curious.
Associated with it. If you want, go and draw every single page of that thing over and over and over again, and then hand it out on the curb. But making somebody else do that work, no.
Yeah, I will be curious.
We live in a society where if somebody wants to publish something, whether it's put out digitally, whether it can get out there. Mm-hmm. Going to all this sort of trouble to basically say the small publisher who the orders probably would not have been huge on anyways pulled out of publishing our comic is just stupid, especially in a day and age where, yeah, you're right. The internet explodes. Everybody has varying opinions, and regardless of if they got a lot of support or hatred for that decision, they probably just didn't want to deal with the headache either way.
Yeah. Which is smart. I'll be curious if that Indiegogo or GoFundMe actually goes through. I kind of expect it'll get pulled or something. I mean, if it's making a ton of money, GoFundMe might not, just because it gets the money, right? But we'll see.
Yeah, but I mean, with the way advertising and corporate appearances have been on the internet lately, I mean,
they may pull out.
They might pull out.
I guess I should actually answer the question. How do I handle these customers? I mean, if I don't know I have them, I don't. If someone's being,
I saw Ryan kick a guy out of the shop once.
I did.
Yeah, he picked him up by the back of his pants.
Oh, okay,
gave him a boot and
right.
broke through the old double doors at the old store.
Just turned around in circles and just right out the front door.
Right over the door. The top was open and he just slipped right out.
No, I mean,
how can you mistake Charlie for Ryan?
I've had plenty of customers.
Oh, that was Charlie. Sorry.
I've had plenty of customers that have made
get out of my shop.
Insensitive, rude, sexist.
I fucking hate that guy.
Borderline racist comments, and some of these dudes.
Anytime I am all like raging red on Twitter, and that guy's in the store. I hate that guy.
We have one or two guys, and I don't know that they're specifically Comic Gay followers, but we've, like anything else, I mostly ignore them, attempt to shut them down if possible. Because I mostly just want these people to leave the store. Mm-hmm. Arguing with them is meaningless because they're it's not like it's going to help. It's not going to do anything. So I usually just okay, just please leave. I've never had to kick someone out, very close once, but I've never had to kick someone out for being racist or sexist or anything like that. I've definitely, had customers who have made comments, and there was a time where me and Marshall were both like, what? Oh, it's a joke. No, that's not funny. Yeah. And you do you can get people to maybe kind of realize, but they don't 99% of the time.
Well, I say that I rage I say that I rage when this guy's in, but that's not how I am when I'm sitting behind the counter.
Oh,
I know.
I mean, I won't go into anything else about this guy, but I say nothing. And
I say nothing. I ignore him.
As long as you don't engage, he generally won't engage you, and he just leaves. And then you're like, fine, okay, fine.
I'm guessing it's the same person I'm thinking of, but
Probably.
I'm not sure. But I will say this. To me, part of it just has to do with the atmosphere of the shop, meaning if somebody comes in and I kind of either ignore or dismiss to a degree of I'm not going to engage, and it's just them, I don't really care. I can just watch whatever I'm watching on TV or read whatever I'm reading and ignore differing opinions regardless of how wrong they are. If they were being abusive or affecting somebody else's experience in the store, like another customer, that's where I would step in.
Yeah.
I do not want to see Flair chase Charlie.
I can get offended, and I'm fine with that. Look, you can offend me. You know what's going to happen after that? Nothing.
Yeah,
I'm going to get over it.
We have a friend of the store. We have a friend of the store named Brian who does like to sort of engage. Not like he basically likes arguing. He does like to sort of. Well, why do you think that? Why would you say that? What's your?
He does it. And that's just his personality.
Yeah. And so he's not like trying to pick a fight. He just is always when he hears someone that is acting maybe kind of questionable, he will sort of engage them instead of just kind of push them off. And so unintentionally, he has sort of saved me from having to get involved once or twice because he sort of has gotten involved as the customer almost by himself. But that's not him trying to defend me or pick a fight or fight with a customer. That's
just trying to get somebody to think instead
and
of
that's just right. He's a very smart guy.
The best way to do it.
But it's really hard because a lot of times people don't. They just
want to talk.
I mean, they'll be like, "Oh, okay," and then they leave, and then they, 5 seconds later, they're like, "Oh, so blah blah blah, something stupid," no. So, I mean, again, I'm sure I have customers that watch these videos and just don't talk to me about it, which is fine, I guess. Our good friend Chris Bunch asks Wally and Barry. Flash.
I thought he was asking Wally and Barry a question, and I was like, "Ooh, I can answer that."
Do they have the same rogues gallery? We don't see much of Wally's bad guys aside from
Yes, they're the same people.
I was wondering if all the Speedsters have the same rogues. Yeah, they're mostly the same guys.
Yes, because
sort of.
Wally was the Flash.
Yeah, there's been a
same guy.
There's been a couple Zooms.
Yeah. And I mean, there are members of the Rogues Gallery that are more a Wally rogue or more of a Barry rogue.
Yeah. Give me an example.
Like Captain Cold is for sure more a Barry rogue.
Yeah.
Versus
like the new Trickster is like a Wally rogue.
Yeah.
The kid.
Yeah.
Gridiron is more of a Wally rogue.
And then those are like just kind of scrub new ones. But
I mean, even sort of like the Zoom versus Reverse Flash and stuff like that. They share a lot of similarity in their rogues. There's definitely times where the new rogues and the old rogues can kind of intertwine. But it's there's definitely different eras of rogues for those characters.
Should we just start calling them the Central City Rogues?
Yeah. And he also wants to know, what do you guys think of Francis Meadowpool's run on Flash a few years back? Yeah, really good.
I loved it. Yep. It's got a nice hardcover. And they just started putting out trades.
Yep. Yeah.
Like the thicker trades.
Well, that's only the first volume. That's all they're going to do, just that one volume.
That's kind of dumb.
DC's doing this line. They call it DC...
Essential collections?
Huh?
Aren't they essential?
Not essential. It's like DC starting line or some starting place or something like that. They're one-off volumes that are like, hey, you don't have to ignore the fact that this is Justice League's volume 7 and 8. It's just one book. It's Darkseid War. It's just Justice League Darkseid War. So they did. I did think the first 12 issues of Meadowpool's run as one book.
I think everything from like Flashpoint.
Yep.
On is really solid.
Well,
sorry, the John stuff, but before, because there's that 12 issues.
I mean,
that lead up to it.
I'm of the opinion that nearly every issue the Flash ever made has been amazing.
Yeah,
but especially post Crisis, there's not a bad run. There's almost not a bad run.
Pun intended.
Let's see. Let's skip around here. This is from Tyler Willits. So I think this was brought up on Twitter a few weeks back. Oh, I had an epic breakdown when this happened because I just couldn't do it. What are your top 5 Morrison story arcs or Morrison runs? Grant Morrison runs in comics. I was like, here's my top 5, and then I was like, oh shit, I forgot like 8 more. I can't pick 5. I just can't pick 5.
Give me 6 then.
I would have to go back.
Don't give us nothing.
No, he can give us a Bryce. He'll give us 5 and then 20 honorable fucking mentions.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
well, Bryce isn't here, so he can take us some of that time.
I mean, New X-Men, no question, is on that list.
Yeah.
Okay. Just JLA, 90s JLA, no question, is on that list. Final Crisis is on that list. Okay. Now, I didn't put New 52, or I didn't put 52 because not specifically Morrison.
No,
right?
that's a collection of
Doom Patrol, Visibles, Arkham Asylum. Like, I may just want to put Arkham Asylum on that list because Arkham Asylum is so good. It's so good. I love his Batman run. Like,
All-Star Superman.
All-Star Superman.
Yeah,
Hello.
I was like, hello.
Like, this is what happened when I went through this. I forgot a shitload of stuff because I cannot pick a top 5. I just can't do it. It would be like most of his independent work. I'm a little kind of on. I love Sea Guy, but I wouldn't put it in a top 5.
We 3 was good.
We 3, We 3 is good, but I wouldn't put it in my top 5. Sebastian I wouldn't. Most of his vertical stuff. Oh, Animal Man, of course. Has to be top 5. Yeah. See, I can't do it because I have like 19 top 5s. I just can't do it. I want to say New X-Men and Justice League are the and All-Star Superman.
My favorite.
I can't do it. Shit, I can't do it. Okay, because
what about Animal Man?
All-Star Superman, New X-Men, JLA, top 3. I can't name anything else. Those are a solid top 3.
For me, it's X-Men.
Yeah, X-Men.
Then
X-Men run is so
JLA, then All-Star Superman.
His X-Men run is so good.
No.
You know what stuff about his X-Men run now?
I liked his Animal Man run better than
I love his Animal Man run.
That's number 3 for me.
You know what's stuff about New X-Men run though. All right, Ethan Van Sciver does a lot of artwork in there.
Yeah.
That's tough. Hey, I tweeted about this.
Charlie, remember those Green Lantern books you got?
I tweeted about this the other day.
The story was so good, though.
Jeff Johns' Green Lanterns are finally coming out in nice, thicker, soft covers, and it's like I'm gonna continue to recommend them, but
you're not gonna talk about the art.
Tough.
You can't talk about the art.
And I mean, I like his art. It's just, do you want to give money to a Nazi? That's the tough part. It is. I'll give it to Jeff Johns. I'll tell DC to give his Ethan Van Sciver's cut to Jeff Johns. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough.
So your Grant Morrison definitive is?
I mean, it's those 3, and then it's everything else is number 4. And then like Klaus is number 5.
What are a couple of those that are number 4? Give me a couple number 4s.
Animal Man, Doom Patrol, Invisibles, his run on Batman Incorporated, Batman R.I.P., like that whole... Oh, God. Batman and Robin is so good!
Batman and Robin was good. I didn't like the R.I.P. and the back out.
Final Crisis. Return to Batman.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? What about Multiversity?
Oh, my God, Multiversity! Multiversity is so good.
No. This is how you Ryan.
I think I can make Final Crisis and Multiversity one pick in my top 5 because they are.
See, he can't.
It's a direct continuation. To me, it's just like it's one book. It's one book.
I mean, you know what's really
I love how by the end of this he's going to be like, Grant Morrison only ever wrote one book. It just happens to be all these.
Everything he's ever done. It's everything.
If you
he's ever
really
done.
look into it, the X-Men story flows into
There
the
is
JLA.
there's actually a thread online that talks about like his run is just for DC is just one big giant story connected with JLA and All-Star Superman
I'm done with that.
and all of this stuff, and it's really, really good. I also have to ask, how are you liking the Wonder Woman Earth 2?
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we haven't gotten the new Green Lantern, so we don't know what that's going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Indie Gator says, with Doom Patrol coming into Titans this week, what are the must-roll Doom Patrol issues besides the Morrison stuff? Ugh, that's a little tough.
The Morrison stuff.
I love Doom Patrol as a concept, but
the execution
books
just hasn't worked.
Yeah.
That's why I had difficulty with those.
Ignore that
couple
John
ones.
Byrne run like it's going to give you the plague, because it probably will.
I mean, I like the stuff in Young Animal that I.
Yeah. No, the Young Animal stuff is good, but I think the Young Animal stuff is incomprehensible without knowing the Doom Patrols, without knowing the Morrison stuff.
And I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying that if the point is they've already read the Morrison stuff, you might as well. There's plenty of stuff where it's like
I like the Blackest Night crossover issues. Those were okay.
Man. Yeah, there isn't a ton of great Doom Patrol.
Puzzle Quest, Joshua.
Unfortunately.
Josh doesn't play Marvel. The Joshes don't play Marvel Puzzle Quest. We try to rule the world in other ways.
Plus, he never likes to be called Joshua. It's just Josh.
It's just Josh.
It's from Dan over at Southside Comics. He says, "What's your
where is that?
Yeah, you gave the other place Flagstaff, Arizona.
Pittsburgh.
Huh?
Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Nice.
Pittsburgh, PA.
Whoops.
Holler if you hear me.
It's actually, if I click the right link, I'm sure it'll tell me exactly where it is.
There's a lot of Pittsburghs.
Holla if you hear me.
Brownsville Road in Pittsburgh. There it
Nice.
is. Yep. Go check out. Yeah, Dan's a good guy. I talk to him online all the time. So just trying to pull up an actual better address than Pittsburgh. He says, "What's your sales prediction numbers for Uncanny X-Men 1 through 10?" It's weekly.
6.
I'm going to say 300,000 for number 1.
With how many variant covers? Though?
Not at not outside of our shop.
Oh, we're going to sell
Your
quite a
shop.
few.
It's not really my shop. I feel like it is sometimes.
But it's an $8.
You are right. He's obviously doing predictions outside this shop because he's not going to sell 300,000 in this shop.
No, he's not.
I'm going to say 300.
How much did Action do?
I thought
Action
6.
1,000.
500.
500,000?
I think it's going to do 300,000 for number 1.
Maybe.
How many in store?
I think I ordered 60.
How many of those are you going to sell? And how many are you going to sit on the shelf?
Most of them. We have a lot of
55.
I mean,
we have a lot of subscribers for X-Men.
it's an, as already pointed out, it's an $8 comic.
Maybe. I'll check.
Everyone who gets X-Men Gold, X-Men Blue, and X-Men Red that doesn't cross over is getting Uncanny X-Men.
I get red, so
you'll get...
yes, I am a subscriber.
I think
56.
I think 300,000 for number 1, 75,000 for number 2, 70 to 80 for number 2, 3, 4.
You do
and then
75 to 80 for those.
Well, then 5 is where it drops because you FOC issue 5 when 2 is out.
Yeah.
So I think by 5 you'll drop down to 70. By 10, I'm going to say high 60s, low 70s. I mean, it's Uncanny X-Men. I think it'll have a fan base. I think people will buy it. I don't think it's going to drop to like 30,000 copies
So
or
you
anything.
think it's going to have some legs?
I think by 10...
Well, I think it also depends on how good the story is and what's going to happen with the X-Men after.
Yeah.
Because that's what we don't know right now.
I think there will be a push. I'm going to say 300,000 for number 1, 80,000 for 2, down to about 70,000 for issue 5.
You guys all
and
writing
about
this down?
And about 65,000 for number 10.
It's being
so
recorded. You can just replay it.
Yeah, so we'll see. 65,000 for number 10 is going to be my guess.
Don't
so
troll me.
so Dan and everyone else, write that down and remind me in a couple
Don't
months
troll me.
what that says.
Fool.
Next question.
Norman wants to
I'm
know.
done with this.
Norman wants to know: do you think the Red Sox should give Pablo Sandoval a ring? He's still the 5th highest player on the team.
Highest paid.
Highest paid. What did I say?
Highest
paid.
He might be the highest
paid player on the team, even though he's
I don't know if he's high or not, but he could be
on the team. Yeah.
You were on vacation when they won.
Oh, dude, it was so good. It was so sweet. I missed all the LA games. It sucked. I mean, it didn't suck because I was on vacation. It was great, but it was like, I would have loved to watch the 18 game.
Are you going to do a little Disney review?
I just nothing to say. I can say whatever you want.
Yeah,
The teacups didn't break his back.
Oh yeah, how'd your back hold up?
Not great, but I survived.
All the walking
Getting
killed
better.
you?
It is tough. I mean, we did the Halloween party, and it was just, oh man. I mean,
did you just crush it? Did you crush the candy?
What is like a day's walk? Like if you Fitbit 10,000,
10K, 10K, 6 miles.
Okay, well, Fitbit step.
Yeah, it's like 10,000, 12,000, depending on your size.
That's how many you should step. And now if you go to Disneyland, you're usually going somewhere around 25K.
Yeah, we did just the Halloween party.
How you know that?
Just because I had my Fitbit on at Disneyland.
We did just the Halloween party, which is 6 to midnight, and my buddy Seth did like 21,000 steps in that amount of time.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was just, and that's only half the day, right? I mean, it was just you just don't stop. You just go from place to place to place.
So you did crush Disneyland.
It was ridiculous.
But you got all the candy to refuel.
We got a 35 pounds of candy. It's stupid. I'm not even joking. Like, literally, we had to put it in a different bag when we flew because it was going to make the carry-on bag or the check bag too heavy. We separated out an entire other bag that was like chips and apple slices and all the other stuff they give you, and one bag was just like solid.
I just like to think about you just like throwing out all the healthy apple slices.
No. We put it in a separate bag. It was ridiculous.
Threw it away.
It was ridiculous.
You haven't even brought the candy to the store to give out.
Nah, I'll bring some tomorrow. We went as
You need to hand it out
Hubert, Lewis, and Deuteronomy.
I thought, okay, it looked like you guys were Mario, Luigi, and Zelda.
So a couple people were like, Mario, Luigi, and a third one? And we're like, Huey, Louie, and fucking Dewey, guys. Come on.
I
got
it. I didn't.
I did.
It looked like Zelda and Mario and Luigi. Sorry.
Zelda's not blue. I guess
No,
she does
wasn't
have
she
like
wearing a green?
Oh, fucking Zelda's got the
No,
Luigi's green.
Who's blue? Wario?
No,
I mean, blue would be like
purple and yellow.
Link's like later tunic in the back half of the game.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I was thinking you were Zelda. I thought she was. I thought Leanne was Zelda.
Yeah,
because did she have a little hat? I didn't look.
We all had
I zoomed in on the candy, and that's what I looked.
We all had the blue, red, and
when you give out that
green
candy
hat,
this year,
shirt
you're
and
going to
hats,
say,
so.
"This is special Disneyland candy."
But Saturday was like we just know how this thing works. We just hit every single ride. We did everything. And
did they add anything new
so much
to the Haunted Mansion?
Well, they have the switch over to the Night
was
Before
there
Christmas.
anything new in the Night Before?
Every year they do the gingerbread house. When you're going through the Haunted Mansion, there's a whole ballroom scene. They do an overlay for Nightmare Before Christmas, so they put in Jack Skellington and all the characters instead. And there's a gingerbread house that is on the table instead of like a wedding cake or a birthday cake or whatever it is. And they have this year it was huge. It was like 15 feet tall. The thing was gigantic. So it's like the house, but there was this huge like spider. I mean, these are really made out of gingerbread, and they work like they're animatronics. They move around and everything, but they're actually made out of gingerbread.
Could you eat it?
You could. I mean, it's a couple weeks. It's like a month stale at this point, but
it's going to be really stale in another few months.
Yeah, but it is super cool.
That's one of the things that I haven't gone to see yet, and I really want to go. Because Haunted Mansion is one of my it's one of my favorites. The podcast where we talked about the creator and stuff like that was fun. But
normally
I haven't seen that one.
It's like mid-September through New Year's is when it switches over. It's up for a long time. It's up for like a third of the year.
Yeah. I did it once, 1 year.
Yeah. I mean, we only did we normally, it was like, Haunted Mansion will do like 4 times. And we were just so trashed after like just the Halloween thing that we barely.
I feel like before you go, you're going to have to train. because
For Disneyland?
just you're going to have to train because you sit here and do nothing all day.
That's not true. What the fuck?
He's on Twitter, remember?
Oh, okay, sorry. He's on Twitter. And he picks up some boxes here and there.
Yeah.
But you basically, I mean, you're confined to just this building. Correct or not correct?
I mean, I don't live here. I have a home. I do leave sometimes.
yeah.
Well,
you
sometimes you make it
dog
sound
for-
like you live here.
Do you take your dog for a walk?
I do.
But it's a little dog, so it doesn't need to go very far.
We have 2 dogs. Yeah.
So you can't take him too far
generally
because they get tired. Because they're like really tired.
Between
They're
6 to
really
8 walks a week. It's 14 walks, me and Leanne split it depending on our work schedule. So roughly 7 to 8 walks, 6 to 8 a week. Yeah.
I think you need to
Not
train.
super far,
You
but-
need to train for this.
I
feel
just
like
want to see the video montage of this.
yes.
No, but I mean, we know exactly what to do. It's just.
Well, you get. I want you to be fresh so that when you go back again, like the next day, you're not dragging.
The all-pro Disney routine is get up early, go in the morning, go at rope drop, stay till about 1, go back to the hotel, take a nap, get up around 5-ish or so.
I want you to be able to go
you have
through
lunch.
this without taking a nap.
No, that's suicide for anyone of any age.
That's suicide.
Because you have to have the dinner reservation at 6. You get out about 7:30. Boom, 7:30 to midnight. You own the rest of the park. Skip, dude. 3 o'clock at Disneyland is the worst thing in the world.
I would never want to do that.
It's hot as balls, and there's a billion people there, and that's usually when like all the scrubs that don't take a nap, that don't take a break, they're getting fucking pissed off because their kids are crying, and people are going crazy because you've been walking around goddamn Disneyland for 9 hours. No, like 2 o'clock to like 6 o'clock, like don't even be in the park because it's the worst time.
I told you
It's
the last time
worst.
I've been to Disneyland in the last decade, maybe 3. Disneyland and Disney World, maybe 6 times.
Yeah.
And I've never gone before 8 p.m.
What?
Not one time.
Maybe if you live there, that's cool.
No,
that's
it's
all
just-
you need. But if,
It's because when I was coaching swimming a lot, it was I
Just
would
go
take
after the
them
meet or whatever.
after the meet.
Yeah, that's
and it's a
fine.
prelims and finals meet, and the rule was always we have to go on 10 rides. Period. If there's ever a point where we don't go on 10 rides, we're never coming back.
10 rides from 8 to midnight is tough.
Nope. We made it every single time. And we went on all the big rides. Now, I will say...
Fast passing?
no, fast passes are gone by that
Yeah,
point.
they're gone by
we
that point.
ran.
But I mean, when you're
running.
but you just straight up, you're standing in line at any of these rides for 45 minutes. I just don't see how that's possible.
You can take care of a whole bunch.
You can pound out.
You hit the teacups and then
No.
You could do teacups. You could do teacups, Mr. Toad, teacups, Mr. Toad, Pirates, Haunted Mansion at certain points. You could do
Haunted Mansion
Pinocchio.
at the end. You can go on twice. The thing is, in the last half hour,
You can
get on 3.
Yeah, you can.
3 of the big ones. If the log ride is still going,
Yeah,
you can get
So
on that.
You can just walk
re-ride.
right on Splash. Yeah,
Well, so
a
we
few times.
re-rode one time to make it 11.
Yeah, and
Re-ride,
and splash it.
re-ride.
Splash
You
at
know,
11.
I kind of want there
Thunder
to just be a
Mountain.
montage video of that.
And
Of just
funny
the
is
mad
when
dash
I'm at
to
night,
hit 10.
Sometimes it's easy.
So
to get
Ryan, this one time we had everything planned out, and one of the rides was getting out late, and we're cutting across the park during the parade, and we have like minutes to make it through before the parade comes, or else we're stuck on the other side. And I swear we made it within like 30 seconds. There's like 14 kids running across the street
Yeah.
waiting for that.
What happened to those?
You can
those
do it.
swimmers? They got run over by the Disneyland electric parade.
It
can do
was.
it.
I'm telling you, Ryan, it's an epic thing to see. I do think we, at times, the rules were also you need to be super polite to everybody. Excuse me,
sure.
pardon me, have a great night. Sorry, goodbye, and just keep running. If you bump into people, make sure you don't bump into mothers and babies and little kids. Don't knock anybody over.
All right, any questions? I know
Sorry.
Julian Titus is refusing to ask us a question.
No,
this
he
week.
does have a question, but I'll get to this in a second. Lester says, reading Death of Superman for the first time. Lex has red hair and a beard, and Supergirl is his girlfriend. What's that all about? So, Lex Luthor at this point was actually Lex Luthor, but he was telling people he was the son of Lex Luthor,
Yes.
if I'm remembering correctly. And Supergirl is his girlfriend.
And was it a clone body or something like that?
Yeah, it was like a little clone of Lex. And Supergirl is actually this shape-shifting alien named Matrix, who, right?
Yep.
Matrix is her name.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We're with
That Lex is controls. It's super creepy today.
Yeah.
I mean, it was probably super creepy then too, but it's really creepy now. And yeah, she's like his slave, but she breaks out. There's a point in that book where I think Doomsday hits her and she turns back into Matrix. Like she's like this purple blob.
Well,
I remember
if I recall, at the time he was manipulating her. So, like, after she gets injured, he puts his coat around her to collect some of her DNA
Yeah, sounds right.
to try and
He's like
do experiments. And
yeah, but she
clone.
does break free and become her own thing.
Well, yeah, but
and then she became Supergirl. They started a Supergirl book right after that.
Well, the Peter David one that's different.
that
That's
was
like
different.
the Earth Angel thing, and it was just like a totally different
Because
Supergirl.
she had
and-
one. What was her name? Her name was she had another
I mean,
name.
there was a Supergirl book with her in it for it was only like a miniseries or something. It was
Was it
super
only a
short.
mini?
Yeah,
I feel like I have a bunch of those.
I think they killed her, but I
had.
don't remember. Yeah,
yeah,
So,
I don't
we're
remember her
done.
final fate.
Brock took a
Yeah,
while.
yeah. I don't know what happened.
He had long
We're done.
flowy hair, right? Not the red hair, ginger curl, like straight curl.
No, it was long hair.
super like long and
Yeah.
curly and
Dude,
wavy.
everybody
and
had
stuff,
long
yeah,
hair.
yeah.
He had long hair. Superman had long hair. And a mullet.
Atomic,
Yeah, but that was even when like Superman didn't know it was Lex
yeah.
and stuff. Like,
It's a good story.
yeah,
Atomic General has two
My
questions.
pick of the week. That's my random pick.
Wants to know if anyone's looking forward to the Boys show on Amazon based on the Garth Ennis comic.
Yeah.
Yeah, curious.
Curious.
I'm looking
in.
forward to Bosch,
Bosch is good. I've heard
Junior
Bosch
Bosch.
was good. You say Bosch was good, but I haven't
and I
seen
want to
it.
watch Good Omens.
Yeah, I really
yeah.
want to see Good Omens. Hell yeah. But yeah, Boys could be good. It could be kind of just.
It could be blah.
It could be.
Well, so boys,
I'm just glad Simon Pegg's actually in it.
yeah.
yeah, but is he going to
Instead
be?
of directing or
Well,
Well, no, it's just there's a character in The Boys who is based on Simon Pegg.
Pegg.
But
So
is
he's
he-
playing his father.
Is
Like
he-
it's somebody else is playing that character,
right.
but he's
He's
playing
not
that
going to be
character.
like a regular on the show. He's just going to play he's just going to be like in an episode or two, right?
Yeah,
I don't think
no,
it's a regular
no, it's
thing.
not a regular thing. I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
Reading The Boys, I mean, you're following on the Preacher stuff, but it starts out really, really good, really strong, just in your face, like wham.
Boys is a little.
But then it just, I don't know.
I never finished it. It's a little just mean spirited, and I kind of don't know if I want that now. but,
after a while it gets tired.
yeah.
so
yeah.
so the way I kind of look at it, and I'm not trying to downplay Garth Ennis's sort of contribution to the medium with Preacher and that kind of stuff, but I do kind of feel like it reached a point with a lot of his work where it's just like, I've done all this messed up stuff. How can I keep pushing it farther? Like it starts feeling like he's doing stuff not necessarily for the story's sake. He's doing it because he feels like he needs to push that envelope even farther.
Did you have two questions?
Yeah, second question. Digital codes. To claim or not to claim?
I claim them when I remember to claim them.
I don't read anything on a pad, so don't claim. Of course, I'm rarely reading my comics right now anyway, so I probably should claim the code so I can read them on an airplane.
Yeah.
And that's my thing. A lot of times, the only time I really read stuff from my digital library is when I'm traveling. Because carrying around big, massive hardcovers in more than one doesn't work
Charlie,
very well
you can
when
do
traveling.
It. You can do it. They're your size.
Oh, I have the amount of trips I've taken with big, massive hardcovers that I've barely read any of.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Is-
the worst.
The best is that if you try and get on a plane with an omnibus, they might think it's a weapon.
I toted around my Neil Adams Swamp Things for almost a year. They were just permanently in the bag that I was taking around, and I finished them at home in the summer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was a useless spent, lugging around two giant hardcovers.
Yeah.
I think honestly, if you're buying something and you like it, redeem the digital code.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, don't it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't read much digital, so I never redeem them. But it doesn't affect the books as far as I know value. CGC has come back, I know in the past, and said redeemed codes don't affect the value of the book. I don't know the current status, but...
I thought it did, but very minorly.
I mean, I think it'll make it a 9.8 and nothing higher, but it won't be a 10. But
how do they know if it's been...
It's a little sticker.
It's peeled off. You can't stick it back on.
A final question before we go. It's from Jay. Says,
I thought you were going to ask a question from Julian.
Happy birthday.
Oh, I do have Julian's question. I'll ask Julian's question, then I'll add Jay's question.
He doesn't want us answering some questions now, but...
Well, Julian says, you guys haven't talked much about... See, what is going on? Does no one listen to me? Guys haven't been talking much about Legends of Tomorrow in a long time. I mean... It was my number one superhero show of the end of 2017. I don't have anything to say when it's off the air, but I love Legends. How do you guys feel about it? I love that it embraced its weirdness. With the season premiere, I realized it has gone from my least favorite only to one of my favorites. To one of my favorites, only second to Flash. So I've only seen the opening. I don't think...
No, it's not. The second one hasn't aired.
Oh, it hasn't aired yet. Okay.
It was either... Well, no, it was either last night or tonight.
Or tonight, yeah. So
what am I not paying attention to?
Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh.
Dude, I've been singing the praises of Legends since season 2.
Season 1...
Not so
skip
hot.
it.
Yeah.
Well, season 1 has its... It had the kernels of potential, and they went with it with season 2.
Yeah. The opening of this season of Legends has been so good, and I love... Adam has a couple jokes in it where he's like, yeah, we may not be the best group. We don't have the best ratings. He's talking about the ratings on
the show
Well, to us, he's talking about the ratings for the show. In the character is talking about their time traveling ratings within the company or whatever. He's like, but we have a small but loyal group of supporters.
Gary is not a fan base.
But then they're talking later about what he says something, and they're like, yeah, we're not supernatural, but
there was a supernatural.
So they
thing.
just are throwing in random references.
They know
CW references.
Yeah, they know we're not the best, but we're okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I would love Legends to just continue running forever. It's such a funny show, and this opening was so funny.
Well, I think that what we're last season was kind of they had brought Damien Dark back.
Yeah.
So they had that magical aspect to it. And so, but this time they're kind of going a little. Seems to be like they're going to go full bore more.
Well,
which is good because they're bringing Constantine back as more of a permanent resident in the team.
Yes, so. Season 2 they were trying to focus on Rip Hunter and to kind of season 2 and 3 they were sort of trying to fix the problems that they created right? They made all these. They screwed up time. So, and they're going back around trying to fix the problems in the timeline that they created. At the end of season 3, they unleash magic forces. Yeah. So now they're going around time trying to stop these magic forces that have popped up now all throughout time. And Constantine is going to be obviously a recurring cast member of the season.
Ryan's so good in that part.
Oh, he's so good.
He was made to play that role.
Yeah.
I missed all of last season. So.
It's good. It's really good.
I just kind of feel like when it comes to the Legends writers' room, they just say anything goes. Like there's no ideas they throw out at all.
Like the finale had their Ghostbusters moment, right? With the big furry,
Bebo,
right?
Bebo.
It's like it was their Ghostbusters moment.
As I said, I just kind of feel like that writers' room must be a lot of fun because.
Yeah. Well, they had a Biff. Back to the Future, the actor
Tannen?
plays one of the characters' fathers in this episode. Yeah,
Hank.
So of course,
Hank's dad.
Yeah, Steele. So being all about time travel, it's funny that Biff's in that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, the last question from Jay.
Happy birthday, Jay.
And we are not apologizing
Different
to Julian, by the way.
Oh, it's not Jay?
No.
We are not apologizing.
Yeah.
But we are demanding pictures.
Jay wants to know, when are we going to see Batman's penis again?
Shut up.
Well, Jay, we're not going to see it anytime soon because word is Batman Damn number 2 has been quote-unquote censored. I mean, it's not really censored. They're just going to, they're going to
carefully place word balloons.
Cover up any art that they don't want to show, which is the company's prerogative. It can do whatever they want. But yeah.
I don't care either way.
Unlikely to see the Batwing again anytime soon. But yeah, Batman Damn #2 comes out in December. It's on FOC next week. 2 weeks? It's really soon.
The Jim Lee Batman cover is nice.
Yeah, the Jim Lee variant's amazing.
The only reason why I kind of care about the idea of censoring the line is because it's supposed to be their adult line. So I don't care if it's we're just going to censor certain art, but if they get into we're going to start censor things that are important to the story.
Yeah.
Then you're like,
Yeah. Like, I want them to have a line that can tell darker.
Yeah.
And now, mind you, sometimes it's hard to be like darker than this story that wasn't part of an adult line. But yeah,
I agree.
I think there has to be that fine line where it's fine to say no nudity in the books, but I think they need to maintain the edge, or there's no point in calling something Black Label.
Yeah, I agree.
Which I think is one of the biggest letdowns is that line name, Black Label, really brought it to like, oh, okay, this isn't your kids' comics. This is comics for basically the kid that grew up.
Yeah, I mean that's every comic these days.
Yeah, well, it's the adult.
Hell, when they started Black Label, the pitch was these are not creator owned, but creator driven stories. They stand alone. They could do whatever they want. I mean, I don't think they had to be adult in nature. Just they were very standalone and left to their own devices, and that clearly is now not the case. So, yeah, disappointing. We'll see what happens going forward. And that's a podcast.
Sweet.
You guys are doing your PvP?
The thing with PvP is it runs one to the other. So we finished one, and now we're what's called clearing to the timers.
Okay.
Now, so we grinded. That's post timers. That's what.
Okay,
you do.
so can we do our fucking outro? Because God, that was boring.
We just lost a bunch of. They're like, okay, turn this off. They're
I don't
talking
even
about
care if there's fun stuff in the
Scott's
outro.
going to be launching the Marvel Puzzle Quest Comicspiracy Dark spinoff here pretty soon.
I can't do it without my crew, and I don't think the Josh Bros fully support Marvel Puzzle Quest.
Your addiction. You're like the Ryan Reynolds of the group.
Thanks to our good friend Julian Titus and his Nerds Without Pants podcast at
Tobias.
pixelbit.com.
No pants.
Ryan Hess has Blowhards. That's a video game podcast at blowhards.libsyn.com. I don't know what videogames.libsyn.com is. It's probably not the Blowhards podcast. Jody Lawson is canon, the Triad Comics Anthology at triadcomicstudios.com. Go over to their website and check out some of their comics. Sam Shea, Craig Anderson, Joe Duff, Andrew Nelson Mendez at the Recovery of an Anime Junkie podcast.
Craig Anderson's a Josh bro.
Is he?
Yeah.
Craig?
Yeah.
It's almost like Josh.
He was inducted.
Nice.
Indie Gator.
Darfox8 at the Manga Machinations podcast and Tumblr. Larry Davis has Stand and Delivery, podcast about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and there's Page Turners.
I would like to meet Darfox7.
Which is a comic book podcast. You can check out Page Turners. They talk about it's every other week. They talk about all sorts of different comics on there at pageturnerspodcast.libsyn.com. Thank you to all our high tier backers for this month. You still have a day to jump on if you want to be on the October Patreon backer. I think we have a new one, at least one high tier one. We'll get to that next week. We'll get to that in 2 weeks. And we'll try to we'll do a couple extra plugs for our high tier backers because we will not be recording next week. Just a FYI, no new episode next week. Sorry. Important things are going on next week that are involve the real world. You should be involved in. ComicConspiracyPodcast.com, Geekbox.net, and iTunes is where you can find all our previous episodes, as well as rate and review us over on iTunes. Always helps people find this podcast. YouTube.com/ComicsConspiracy is where you can find also episodes, as well as a couple of videos that I've posted up there. I'm terrible. I never post videos. The Comic Conspiracy at Geekbox.net is where you can send some emails if you want to send us a long form email. We read those occasionally.
Why? We have how many are sitting in the queue?
Well, there are occasionally times there is no comic news,
and we didn't even read an email tonight.
We didn't. It was all Twitter. Twitter stepped up. Patreon.
We used up all the questions for the last 40 years.
Patreon.com/Comic Conspiracy is where you can kick us a couple bucks for if you listen to this podcast and you're a fan. Or you can also go over to digital.comicsconspiracy.biz, where you can buy all sorts of digital comic books from us right in your iPad, tablet, phone, PC, anything like that.
VR headset at some point.
I'm sure. Or you can go to comicsconspiracy.biz, which is our retail website. You can go pick up some comics on here. We do lots of shipping. Brock packs most of the stuff.
Jesus Christ!
We just sent out
$25 today.
Yeah, we just sent out. We got 25 boxes going out to mail order subs today. So we do plenty of subscription service as well through comicsconspiracy.biz or over on our
Love the hub.
our Comic Hub account. ConspiratorBrock.com, that's Brock's blog and video pull list, and statue breaking podcast. You can statue breaking video episodes. You can go catch them out over
statues?
there.
No, so okay. Ryan and Toby would give me shit
We still give you shit.
for opening a statue in the store to make sure it got to the store properly. And they're like, "What are you unboxing it for? Just do it on the."
He does an unboxing video, but he
It
pre-unboxes.
feels like that's false advertising.
But that's the thing is so
I want to see your surprise. I want to
He's
see
the reality show of
don't
YouTube
you think
videos.
it would be better if it was broken? You'd be like, "What?
Yeah.
My statue is broken."
And guess what? It happened.
Brock reacts to
It
broken
happened-
statues.
It happened in the last one.
Yeah.
And
Did you
I told
post that
people-
video?
Yeah, I posted it.
You get a lot of hits?
I think it's the one you retweeted.
Yeah, did you get a lot of hits?
I don't know. I haven't checked.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I told people,
You have this-
before
you have
you
this-
buy it, open it.
You have this. You have the page where you're like, you have a broken statue behind you, and you're like, Brock reacts to broken statues.
No. I think my reaction was like, oh shit, I forgot to open this.
We'll go over to Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension podcast.
I feel like it would be better if it'd be broken.
I have no emotion like that. If it's broken, I'm like, shit.
That's Charlie. You're bad for YouTube, man. You're gonna be like,
Don't you know? The more that you overreact, the more you overreact, the
yeah,
more fans.
you're like zoom into the camera real fast,
just like
and just,
shaking.
like all
Well,
sorts
you have to
of
like
memes.
cradle it in your arms.
Yeah.
Constant cuts.
Just crying and
Get him on the phone.
you're gonna get meme.
Oh, I would love that. I'd love you to like start a Skype call with Ryan.
What the fuck is this, Ryan?
You need to take this. Oh yeah, I work there. I'm the one that's going to be sending it back.
There is very little statue breaking going on over at the Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension podcast. They talk about Doctor Who, talking about the new episodes. I watched.
Arachnids in the UK.
No.
Rosa.
Thank you. I watched Rosa last night. It was a pretty good episode.
Yeah.
I've not seen arachnids in the UK. I hate spiders, so I'm not looking forward
I heard
to it.
that
So
one triggered a lot of
that
people.
was like somebody put it on there, like on the page, and was like, "Dude, I couldn't even finish it. I hate spiders so much." Is it that
Yeah,
bad?
it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Give us a rundown.
I seriously,
Okay.
I know we're in the outro.
If somebody hates spiders that much where they need to leave a room if they see a spider, this is not the episode of Doctor Who for you.
when there's spiders on TV, I just cover that part of the TV with my hand.
You do not. And close.
So you're going to have a hard time covering the TV with your hand. Still, you'd have a hard time covering the TV with your hand.
Yeah, I hate spiders. I can't
so
do
you
it.
never watched Arachnophobia?
No, never. Hell no. I'll see how far I can get through the episode. We'll go to that. Etsy.com/shop/Leanne Hill Art. That is my wife's Etsy store. You can buy some cool art from her on there. All of us are on Twitter. Ryan Higgins, Ryan. Brock Sager. Insanity and Chaos is Charlie. The store is Comics Con Store. Scott is CS Shea. You can go over and add us all on Twitter. We're all hanging out.
I don't tweet
tweeting.
anything.
I occasionally reply to tweets. that people send
I'm
me.
always on tweeting.
You're always on Twitter.
His phone is attached to his hand. He's got it up on the desktop. He's got it everywhere.
And our good friends
Twitter friendly.
Bryce is over at Larson Bryce and Toby's Toby XI if you want to yell at them for anything. Geekbox Comedy Button, Manga Machinations, and The Infinite Binge over on YouTube. Those are our other podcasts on our little network. Make sure you go listen to them as well. All right, for nothing to say, we sure talked for an hour and 40 minutes. We're going to wrap this podcast up. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you.
We'll catch you in 2 weeks for the next episode. See you
So
later.
next
bros.
week you need to get out and vote.
Josh Bros. Send in your Josh Bro questions.
Yeah.
No, not your Just Bro questions. Get out and vote. November 6th.